We laughed, we cringed, we swore we'd never try them. Then found ourselves secretly buying glitter eyeshadow and mood lipstick. The 1970s gave us beauty trends we loved to mock, but secretly loved even more. Ready to revisit those once ridiculed makeup, hair, and skincare fads we all pretended to hate? The orange tan obsession. Let's kick things off with something we all swore we'd avoid, but somehow couldn't resist. The infamous orange tan. The 1970s wasn't about subtle sun-kissed glow. It was about looking like you'd been baking in a tropical oven. Self-tanning lotions and sun lamps promised that perfect bronze complexion, but in reality left most of us looking like Oompa Loompas. Even worse, the tan often ended abruptly at the jawline, creating an unforgettable floating head effect. Despite the embarrassing photos and teasing from friends, there was something strangely irresistible about chasing that sun-drenched look. Magazine covers, TV stars, and disco queens sported deep, almost neon tans, setting an impossible beauty standard. We laughed at the people who overdid it, then spent hours secretly sunbathing on the roof, desperately chasing that perfect, crispy bronze glow. Mood lipstick. Here's one everyone laughed at, until they secretly bought their own tube. Mood lipstick. The mysterious green lipstick bullet was a confusing sight, promising to turn the perfect shade of pink when applied. We rolled our eyes, called it ridiculous, and then immediately had to test it ourselves. Of course, the lipstick was never quite predictable. Sometimes it turned bright neon pink, sometimes it barely showed at all, and sometimes it created a patchy shade that looked like you'd eaten a cherry popsicle too fast. But there was undeniable magic in its unpredictability. It felt futuristic, personal, like the lipstick knew your mood, even if it just reacted randomly to your skin chemistry. Every teenage girl had one hidden in their purse or locker, and even though the color often looked questionable, you couldn't deny it was a conversation starter. Glitter everything. If there was one trend that defined the disco era, it was glitter, and lots of it. At first, the sight of glittery eyelids, sparkling cheeks, and shimmering body lotion seemed absurd. People mocked glitter makeup as childish or tacky. But then disco hit the mainstream, and glitter went from cringeworthy to absolutely essential overnight. Suddenly, everyone wanted to shimmer under the disco lights, emulating icons like Donna Summer and Cher. Glitter eyeshadow palettes, glitter hairspray, glitter nail polish, even glittery lip gloss became staples. Sure, you might have accidentally inhaled some sparkle dust or found glitter in your hair weeks after a party, but the effect was worth it. And let's be real, nothing felt more glamorous than stepping into a room and literally shining brighter than everyone else. Frosted blue eyeshadow. Oh, the frosted blue eyeshadow. At first, this trend drew criticism for looking more like costume makeup than everyday glamour. It felt like everyone's mother, sister, or aunt was sporting ice blue eyelids that looked suspiciously like the paint used on swimming pools. Yet slowly, thanks to magazine ads and TV stars, the frosted look went from cringe to cool. Paired with heavy mascara and dramatic eyeliner, it became the signature look for a generation of young women heading out on Friday nights. Sure, under harsh lights it looked powdery and questionable, but at the disco or roller rink, it was perfection. You might cringe looking back at your old photos now, but at the time, those icy blue eyelids made you feel like a glamorous movie star or a disco goddess, no matter what anyone else said. Overplucked eyebrows. In the 1970s, eyebrows didn't frame your face. They barely existed. Pencil-thin eyebrows were everywhere. At first glance, this look seemed bizarre, unnatural, and severe. But then it became the ultimate beauty trend, with stars like Twiggy and Diana Ross setting the standard for ultra-thin brows. Tweezers became every woman's best friend and worst enemy. One too many plucks and you were stuck drawing your brows back on, often with shaky hands, resulting in brows that looked perpetually surprised or angry. We cringe now at the sight of our thin, drawn-on brows in old photos, but at the time it was chic, sophisticated, and very adult. Roll-on lip gloss. Roll-on lip gloss was messy, sticky, and practically guaranteed to spill inside your purse. But it was also completely irresistible. The little glass bottles with metal roller balls delivered ultra-shiny gloss, often scented or flavored, and made lips sparkle like candy apples. Initially, many people laughed at the idea of greasy, sticky lips, but the temptation was just too strong. Teenagers everywhere succumbed to its sweet allure, secretly rolling on layer after layer of bubblegum or strawberry-flavored gloss during class or on the school bus. Yes, your hair inevitably stuck to your mouth on windy days, and yes, your lips sometimes felt glued together, but somehow the hassle seemed worth it, because nothing captured the youthful glam of the 1970s like overly glossed lips. Body glitter. In the 1970s, body glitter wasn't just reserved for special occasions. It was practically a fashion statement. At first, people scoffed at the idea of rubbing sparkly goo all over their shoulders, chest, or even legs. It seemed childish, even ridiculous. But once disco culture took hold and the lights of the dance floor started bouncing off those glittery limbs, the trend took off. Suddenly, everyone was reaching for those small jars or tubes of body shimmer, applying it liberally before heading out for a night of dancing. And let's not forget the side effects. Glitter on your pillow, your clothes, your friends, your car. It followed you like a sparkly ghost. Still, there was something magical about the way it caught the light. Colored mascara, blue, green, even purple. Colored mascara arrived with a bang in the mid to late 70s. Makeup counters pushed the idea hard. Make your eyes pop! Try color instead of boring black or brown. People rolled their eyes, joked that it looked like clown makeup, and then bought it anyway. Suddenly, teens were fluttering cobalt blue lashes in homeroom, and disco dancers were batting emerald lashes under strobe lights. The colors were bold, daring, and let's be honest, not always flattering. But they were fun, and that's what the 70s beauty scene was all about. Of course, the formulas weren't always great. Sometimes the color barely showed up, and other times it smeared or clumped like crazy. But if you got it right, you felt unstoppable. Heavy blush, forget contouring. In the 70s, blush wasn't blended. It was bold. People applied it in dramatic stripes from cheekbone to temple, often in vibrant pinks or peaches that made them look more sunburned than sculpted. Makeup magazines called it face framing. Real life called it questionable. But once models and movie stars made it look intentional, everyone jumped on the trend. Blush was meant to be seen, and nobody seemed to care if it matched your skin tone or not. It was all about adding drama, hair streaking kits. Long before professional highlights became the norm, 1970s teens were experimenting with at-home hair streaking kits. These came with plastic caps full of tiny holes, crochet hook-like tools, and peroxide that smelled like disaster waiting to happen. The look was polarizing. Some thought streaked hair looked patchy or strange. Others feared the outcome entirely. But that didn't stop curious teens from inviting friends over for Friday night highlight parties that ended in orange stripes, fried hair, and a whole lot of laughter. Eventually, the streaked look caught on. Done right, it gave you a sun-kissed vibe or edgy flair. Done wrong, well, those yearbook photos still exist. Slicked hair with oil or pomade. For those who weren't into the big hair volume game, the opposite trend took hold. Slicked back, wet look hair using oils or heavy pomade. Some folks said it looked too greasy. Others joked that it was like you hadn't washed your hair in days. But if you were into rock and roll, punk, or high fashion, this look was it. Whether you combed it all back or slicked down just the sides, it added attitude instantly. Celebrities rocked it on magazine covers and clubgoers wore it like armor. It wasn't practical, it was statement hair. Ultra glossy nail polish. In the 1970s, glossy nails weren't just fashionable, they were blindingly reflective. Think thick, high-shine polish that looked like it had just been poured on. At first, this look was seen as excessive, like you dunked your fingers in shellac. And yet, people couldn't resist it. The polish often came in electric colors, cherry red, metallic gold, seafoam green, and it took ages to dry. A single smudge meant starting over, and we've all been there, sitting absolutely still, hands outstretched like statues, trying not to breathe. Still, there was something addictive about that shine. Whether you were clacking your glossy fingertips against a desk or admiring them under disco lights, it made you feel done up, polished, cool. Hair sculpting with hairspray helmets. We've talked about big hair, but let's talk about how we kept it that way. Enter the hairspray helmet. Your hair didn't move. It didn't dare. One wrong move near an open flame and you were in danger of ignition. At first, the stiffness of these styles was mocked. You could bounce a quarter off her bangs, so people would say. But then those gravity-defying looks hit the runway, the record covers, and the silver screen. Suddenly, every girl was teasing and spraying like their life depended on it. And the smell? A mixture of aerosol, chemicals, and teenage ambition. Face masks that looked like horror movies. Before sheet masks and luxury serums, we had rubberized peel-off face masks that looked like something out of a sci-fi flick. The green, blue, or white gunk would dry stiff and crackle off like you were shedding a skin. Most people laughed at the idea of smearing mystery goo across your face just to maybe clear a few pores. But once these masks showed up in teen magazines and drugstore end caps, we were all in. They promised tighter pores, glowing skin, and overnight radiance. In reality, they made you look like a creature from the lagoon for 20 minutes. What cringe-worthy 1970s beauty trend did you secretly love? Tell us your stories in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more nostalgic throwbacks.